RT International, a very warm welcome to you. Potential collusion between the New York Times and YouTube has been exposed. A Project Veritas, which has gained a name for uncovering uncomfortable truths behind the media, has leaked a video that seems to show an editor of the newspaper manipulating the video platform.
In very rare cases, we will try to make up for the fact that something isn't in the training tab.
And the man caught on hidden camera is believed to be Ernest Petty. According to his LinkedIn profile, he is YouTube's brand and diversity curation lead. In the video, he admits YouTube intervenes to change trending videos.
Very rare cases, we will try to make up for the fact that something isn't in the training tab.
Okay.
It's very rare.
Okay.
But in those cases, then we will use some human intervention to make sure that to encourage the thing to be there, basically.
Petty's friend, as he's described in another part of the clip by Project Veritas, was also caught on camera saying he benefits from their relationship.
Keep it hush hush because, let's say something ends up on the YouTube front page, New York Times reads out about it, but they don't know it's just because my friends curate the front page.
Right.
Well, Nicholas Dudek is an audience strategy editor for the New York Times. He claims he's previously worked for the election campaigns of both Clinton and Barack Obama. He calls himself a gatekeeper for the top U.S. newspaper, deciding what gets coverage and what does not.
As an editor, I'm a gatekeeper, so I can choose what goes out and what doesn't go out. And let's say we wrote something about Facebook negatively, we actually just did a video about Facebook negatively, and I chose to put it in a spot that I knew wouldn't do well.
We requested a comment on the revelations from YouTube, but so far no comment, though the New York Times has already reacted. In a statement, for example, the newspaper admitted that Mr. Dudek apparently violated the outlet's own ethics code. It also claims he exaggerated the influence he had at the outlet. A communications director at Project Veritas, Stephen Gordon, believes so-called gatekeeping by social media is a huge concern.
Certain political entities, certain media entities rise to the top of the pecking order. There's collusion between the social media networks and the major media outlets. What we did was we caught it. We caught them admitting it. We caught them being candid on undercover video, admitting what most people, what most Americans, and what most people around the world strongly suspect was the case anyway, but just couldn't prove. We've just proved it. Mr. Dudek, who's kind of the star of these first two videos, was pretty clear about having worked for two presidential campaigns and wanting to continue his mission working for the New York Times. I mean, he was pretty clear about it. There's no ambiguity in his words. And what's interesting is in the New York Times statement, they didn't rebut the accuracy of what we said. We kind of suspected they're going to say, well, he's a low-level guy. But they did. They said he's a junior employee, but they didn't rebut the accuracy of what we put out. They're just making excuses. One of the worst deceits the mainstream media does, and now major social media does, is gatekeeping. And it's a role, it's not necessarily it's stopping or suppressing storylines that they don't want to hear or don't want you to hear, so they can bump up their narrative to the top of the list. And most people trust it. As these major internet companies are growing and maturing and becoming almost monopolistic, they've got the ability to do a lot more than they used to in the startup days of the internet. And so they're colluding. They're in bed with the New York, in this case, YouTube and the New York Times are in bed. And when New York Times and YouTube are in bed, the bastard child of that relationship is fake news.